Hey y'all, welcome to Over It All with DW and RJ, where we talk about any and everything. I'm DW, lover of facts, deep conversations, and pretty much anything that makes me think, wait, what?
And I'm RJ, your go to for pop culture hot takes, weird what if scenarios, and plenty of loud jokes. Wait, that doesn't say loud, that says bad. That's fine, we'll fix it in the edit. If it's out there, I'm probably obsessed with it. This is the show where no topic is too random, no conversation too out there. This is Over It All.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on Over It All with DW and RJ are solely our own and do not reflect the views, policies, or positions of our employers or any affiliated organizations. All content is for entertainment and informational purposes only. Hey y'all, welcome back to Over It All with DW and RJ. I'm DW, and instead of RJ today, we have a guest host who's going to tell us a little bit about herself and her story. My twin sister, Miss Indy, Mama Juicy, Juicy Mama. She got some names, y'all. Would you like to introduce yourself to the people?
Sure. Hey guys, my name is Asia. I am this one over there's twin sister or womb mate. I am a wife. I'm a mother of three actually, with my bonus baby. I'm a full-time graduate student getting my second master's, and I'm also a full-time IT professional. So I have several hats that I'm juggling at one time, but I love it and wouldn't trade it for the world.
I love that. So today we're going to talk about parenthood, marriage, personhood, all of the things. So like I said, this is my twin sister. She helped color my hair this color, guys. As you can see, it's a little different. It's giving me some fall vibes up in here. But yes, I'm really proud of the woman she has become. I'm really proud of the mother she is, and the friend she is, and the sister she is. So I'm really excited to have her on today. So if you want to just start giving us your background, what led you to motherhood?
Sure. So I would say ever since I was younger, I always aspired to be a mom, a wife, just a mate overall, because from my sister and I being product of a divorced parent household, we primarily live with my mom, so she was a single mom for years raising us, right? I just always wanted to see a union and have a union that I felt was healthy, that would be a good example for children, and just something that I would be happy to say that, yes, I am married, I am a mom, I am doing all the things that I love to do. And so I would say I've always known, I wouldn't say I knew how many kids I wanted, but I did know I wanted littles, right? I think I did aspire to have twins at some point, since I am a twin. And I would say, I always give kudos to my mom, because I don't know how she did it, right? I know she had a lot of help from my aunts and, my grandma and everything, which was a blessing. But I don't know how she juggled two children at one time, which I am juggling two children at one time, but two children that are the same age and everything. Yeah, so kudos to my mom and all the twin parents and multiple parents out there. So once I met my husband, we met back in October 2017. So we're coming up on 7 years together and 6 years married. This December will make 6 years married for us. So once I met him, he also wanted children as well. So we were on the same page with that. We realized that, our relationship is going in a good direction, and he was serious from the get-go, and I was as well, as far as wanting to find a mate to grow together, to flourish together, and to be successful with together, right? And to build something that we are proud of. And so I think initially once me and him started dating, we were like, oh, we're going to have like 5 kids, 4 kids. So y'all, each year that has decreased down. So now we're down to like, okay, we're fine with the 2, that we have together, and then my additional baby.
Yes, take your birth control.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is daily for me, for sure. So we're totally cool with, the amount that we have now, because I feel like it's something, we can manage. We can, properly give our attention to our kids. They need that attention, that love, that nourishment, that guidance. And I feel like just having that amount now, like, we're able to focus on being professional, doing what we need to do as adults, as well as making sure we're being those parents that we need to be for our kids. So, but we did experience infant loss, child loss for my first baby, Caden Kendall. That was back in July 2018. Still very painful to talk about for me. It has been, 6 years now. But he still has a piece of my heart. He is my heart as well. So I just cherish the memory of having him, and, and I lost him in a very, I would say, tragic way. I was, is it prescribed or diagnosed with having cervical incompetence. Mm-hmm. And that's something I did not know I had.
I had never heard of it.
Right. I had never heard of it. I don't think we knew of anybody that went through that. If they did, we didn't know, right? Yeah. I think after it, a couple of my aunts stated that they, went through the same thing. But that's something I did not know I have. And that's something a woman doesn't know that they have until it happens, devastatingly. So we did lose our first baby, Caden Kendall, at 22 weeks. So that was pretty rough to go through. That was a very tough time. So I do consider myself, technically I am a mother for, because he is my angel baby. Mm-hmm. And then after him we had Kingsley Caden, and then beautiful little Kayla Siri. But Amelia is my bonus baby. She is my baby, y'all. She is my stepdaughter, but she is mine. I gravitated to her since the first day that we met her, right? And so she's such a beautiful light in this dark world as well. So, being able to pour into her as well, seeing that relationship that my husband has with her, even though she doesn't live with us, it's still a beautiful thing to see. And I want to make sure that we all continue to get closer with her and let her know that, she is our family, right? Mm-hmm. That we're here for her at all times as well. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me. I can go on and on, y'all, but
I love that. I love it so much. And I just have to say that all 3 are certified yappers. Okay? That yapping gene.
Yeah, they can talk.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Never a dull moment with those 3. I love it so much. Okay. So we talked about your journey into motherhood. Let's see. And guys, this is just like the last episode. This is a retake. So we've already had this conversation, but we're going to get it on camera again. And as you can see, we're still having technical difficulties, but we're just going to keep rolling with it. So I think before you talked kind of about your career journey, like your educational matriculation and all of that. So you want to dive into that a little bit?
Oh, yeah, I can get back into that. So growing up, my sister and I, right, we were those twins that said, Dorothy, well, she was like, oh, I'm going to be the doctor. And I was like, okay, well, then I'm going to be the lawyer. So everybody looked at us, okay, those are our future doctor and lawyer, So we went with that for a long time, I think up until high school and getting ready to go to college, right? And so our freshman year of college, we were like, no, what do we like realistically want to be and want to do with our lives, right? And we knew we didn't have everything figured out, obviously, at that time. We were 18, 19, right? But we were just now getting to be able to figure out who we are, and separately, because we did go to 2 different HBCUs.
Right up the street from each other, though.
Right, yeah. So we saw each other very, very often, like every other weekend or every weekend. So and shout out to Blue College for her, and then the Jackson State University for me. So we love our alma maters, right? Because they helped mold us into who we are today. So we really appreciate our colleges. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll study, what was it, law, or major in that, or political science. And then I was like, freshman year, I think mid freshman year, I was like, no, what do I really like? And so I took an accounting class. I think that was my junior or senior year in high school. And I was like, okay, I was never the math genius. That was more so my sister and my mom. Like, so I didn't really get that mathematics guru, or very, very, very smart math gene, right? But I was pretty good, I still made really good grades, right, in all of my subjects, and math was one of them, although it was pretty rough. So it's kind of weird when I tell people, oh, I majored in accounting. Yeah, I struggled. It was challenging, but I made it through, and I actually figured out that it was something that I really liked to do. So I ended up majoring in accounting from the College of Business at Jackson State University. Shout out to them. One of the best and most awesomest College of Business. It prepared me for the real world. And so I majored in accounting. And then so after graduating, I was a performance auditor for the federal government for a while. And then I was feeling like, I started to feel as though I was becoming kind of complacent and kind of actually getting a little bored with doing the same thing for years, right? So I was like, and my husband is in IT. So he's more so on the technical side of cybersecurity. And so I was like, I was able to get a picture of what he did on a daily as far as the technical side of IT. And I was like, I don't quite want to do that, but I do want to deal with more of the governance, risk, and compliance, and like auditing side, because that's what I'm used to doing, right? Just ensuring things are going as they should be, as required by law and publication and procedures, right? And so I was like, okay, then I looked more into information assurance. And so now I am an information system security officer for a really, really, really major IT company here now. And so it has been a pretty, I would say in the beginning, a rocky transition, right, from what I'm used to doing. And so trying to like learn on a daily and get used to how things are. It was pretty rocky from the beginning, but now I'm more comfortable with it. I'm learning from my coworkers and, from my own studies now with getting my second master's in IT. And so I love what I do. I love that I get to learn new things. I get to keep up with the trends and what's going on with cybersecurity, all the issues and all of that, whatever's going on in the world. And so it has been a really good transition for me. I was able to step out of my comfort zone, which my husband will tell you, like, he probably tried to convince me to switch over for like 3 years before I like pulled the trigger and was like, okay, maybe I will. Because I was very, very stubborn, and I still am stubborn in some aspects. But yeah, so I'm happy that I finally decided to make that transition over. And I feel like that was the best thing for me because, like I said, I was getting bored and I was too stuck in my comfort zone. So I'm like, yeah.
You needed to challenge yourself.
I needed to challenge myself, for sure.
Awesome. I know before you kind of talked about the personalities in your family, from the little ones to the big ones, and kind of like growing pains with dealing with different cultural, differences and all of those things. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So my husband is Cameroonian, and I am from Mississippi. So, being that I was born here and seeing things and experiencing, different things traditionally and culturally, right? So for him, I would say a good example is, they're used to more so the man working and, providing, and the woman taking care of the kids, everything in the house and things as such, right? So like when we first started dating, we kind of like, obviously I learned about Cameroonian traditions, cultures, the food, those kind of things as well. And he also had to learn how I grew up and, learn and saw things, and how things are here as well. So it's like trying to merge that together, come to a point where like, that's comfortable or that works for our dynamic. It took a while. But definitely at this point, we're more so helpmates, and I don't feel like I have to be superwoman. I did go through that superwoman phase, and I used to not be as vocal with, telling my husband, oh, babe, I need you to do this, or, do that. I kind of feel like obligated to have to carry that weight by myself. But I would say probably it was up until like a couple years ago before we had Kayla. And I was just like, yeah, I can't do it. Like mentally, physically, emotionally, I can't, carry that load by myself. Like we decided to get married. We decided to have children together. So, everything is joint. We are a team, and I don't want to put pressure on him to do such, certain things. And he also doesn't do that to me. So I'm just like, we work together, we achieve things together, we get things done together. So that has been, it was pretty uncomfortable in the beginning, but we're both very much vocal. My sister knows we love to talk, so it's just like, yeah, and it's it's more of a common thing for us now, like to be open and, have those hard conversations, which they're very important, right? And I love to be able to ask my husband, oh, babe, what do I need to do better? Do you see any improvements? Or do you think there are any improvements that you would need from me, for our marriage, for our union? And I also, want him to do the same and ask me those questions about him, just so we can make sure, we're still at a healthy state, we're able to openly communicate. We don't need, if we do ever need outside, support, like a therapist or anything, that is fine. But I want us to do the hard work, at least start with ourselves and do that kind of hard work, have those hard conversations that may be needed, for certain things.
That's how you get to delve deeper and grow closer.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go through it, grow through it, and just, that's how you get to learn more about your person. So that's really important. Okay, let's see. I think we talked about, oh yeah, you said something really sweet, and you were like, how motherhood is a job, how parenting is a job, but the beauty in seeing the pieces of yourself outside of your body.
Yes. And yeah, like I was saying yesterday, right? I do term it as a job because, and I know the dynamics are different for different families, but I know for me and my husband, we both work full time. And my job now, I currently have to work fully on site 5 days a week, right? So that's my professional job. But coming home to my littles, that's another job, because guess what? They need me. They depend on me to do certain, well, not certain, but most everything for them, right, at this point. So I go to work my 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, and then I come home and, they need dinner. They need, sometimes their clothes are messy, sometimes, they may not be feeling well. So guess what? Those gonna lead to more than likely sleepless nights, and I have to wake right back up again, and it starts back over. So, but it's one of the most, I would say, the hardest, challenging yet beautiful jobs to have, right? And I knew, well, I would say I didn't know everything to expect with being a mother. Like, obviously, we saw what our mom went through with raising us, and, our aunts and other, female family members in our family, right, raising their children. So it's kind of like I had a little bit of an idea of what it was to be a parent, but to actually experience it. And I honestly say it's a day-to-day thing. No 2 days are ever the same. Like, one day Junior could ask me one question that's off the wall, and then next he's like, it's just totally opposite. So, it's just, you never know what to expect. But it's also like, it increases my anxiety at the same time because, like I said, they're pieces of me, like they're pieces of my heart walking around, right? They're living, they're breathing, they're existing. And so when I'm not around them, when I'm not in their presence, it definitely makes me worried sometimes because I get over anxious because I'm like, are my kids fine? What if someone tries to hurt them? So it's just like, that's one of the hardest things for me because I always want to be able to protect them. You know what I mean? I don't want them to feel like I'm not there for them or that, I'm not the best mom that I need to be. So I just want to make sure that they are protected, they're loved, and they know that they're needed. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of my stance on it.
And I think you also mentioned something to the effect of what you would be willing to go to prison for. So,
oh yeah, y'all. Like my sister knows. Like I don't. I try to avoid legal things that would get me in trouble. Right. I'm not a troublemaker or none of that. But if it comes to the point where someone hurts my children, they are the only ones I would go to prison for because there's no end to what I would do. I would probably surprise myself with the actions I would take, but I would go to prison or worse for my kids because I don't play about them. They came from me. I love them. I cherish them. And so no, I don't play around about them at all.
I love that. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, you also mentioned how Toot is like sometimes he'll ask some things and you're like, dude, you're only 4. Where did this come from?
Right.
He can be very off the wall sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. He definitely is. And I know he learns a lot right from school. His classmates, they have all kind of
He retains a lot
yes,
too.
yes, like very smart, right? And he picks up things very easy. And I know like it's a lot of stuff he learns from his tablet. He learns, from watching shows and movies, right? Which is why we try our best to limit and make sure we have the parental controls on his tablet. But yeah, like he says some of the most like funniest things, right? And at the same time they're like very smart. And I'm like, where did he learn that? Like you would think he's older than just 4, like, and it's really amazing to see like how his vocabulary builds every day.
Yes.
Because I feel like every day he comes to me with something new. Or he asks me, "Oh, mom, did you know this? Did you know that?" And y'all, he loves bugs. He loves animals. Like he loves Junior. Is just he's so like his brain like soaks up so much.
Literally a sponge.
Yeah, and like they were learning like I think it's like Spanish the last couple of weeks, and he came home saying those phrases and everything that he's learned. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, and I took Spanish back in what was that? I think my freshman year of college. And he probably knows more than me, y'all, just from his class, just from taking it for 2 weeks. So it's just amazing to see like how his vocabulary builds, and it's also beautiful to see the bond that he has with his little sister and his big sister, because he learns a lot from Amelia and being around her, and also she from him, and then also now, especially Kayla, being around Junior, she loves to mimic him. So we try to tell him like be mindful, kind of like we allow him to be a child. He's just 4, right? But kind of like start being mindful because your sister's watching you, right? So just be kind of mindful of your actions and your words because she is going to repeat what you're doing and saying. So, just seeing the bond that they have and knowing that he will be able to, teach her as well as she grows and gets bigger. So it's just beautiful to see.
I love that. And I think I mentioned something to the effect of like, those y'all babies, but those my babies too. Mm-hmm. I love them so much. They keep me on my toes for real. Like, I just don't know what I would do without them. They really are our kids. Like, we're just one big family. So.
Oh yeah, and they love their TT buddy. That's what they call y'all, and that's been Junior's nickname for them ever since. And so like we talked about yesterday, y'all had Junior. I gave birth to Junior. That was the beginning of COVID, February 2020, and so my sister and brother-in-law live maybe about an hour from where we used to live, right? And so, they were the only ones close enough to us because everybody else in our family were in Mississippi or, other states, right? And so my sister and brother-in-law, they took Junior in for almost 3 months, right? Because my husband and I had COVID and we were really down bad. And, at that time in the beginning, nobody knew the actual effects, like how does it affect newborns, how does it affect breast milk and all of that stuff. So we just didn't want to take any chances. So that was like probably the second or third most hardest thing that I ever went through. The first was losing our first baby, right? But now with us, like just now having Junior, normally when you, as a mom, a first time mom, you're looking forward to those newborn snuggles, those first moments, the first gaga, all that good stuff, right? And we, we were blessed though because my sister and brother-in-law were that close to be there to help us in one of the most needed times, you know what I mean? And we felt comfortable. Yeah, it was hard having him like not with us. But it did our hearts really, really good to know that he was safe. He was being loved. He was being taken care of. And so we really appreciate them. I still to this day tell her thank you, so because that was special.
And I think you mentioned how we went from just being like this couple
to
being like guardians overnight.
Y'all were like, a couple, like, instead of having the chill, like Netflix and chill nights, it went
poopy
from
diapers.
Yeah, to poopy diapers, like throwing up little baby, a crying little baby. And I'm like, they sacrificed that, like, y'all just don't know.
But I told you, like I said yesterday, it was just so easy.
Yeah.
He just fit right in, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, we have all the pictures and videos on that time.
Yes.
Like, he just fit right in. So, I hated that y'all were sick, but it was, a great bonding experience and all of that. So, and he was just so squishy and chunky. And now he's so big.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so crazy how time flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we talked about, let's see, because you answered a lot of the questions I had already. Oh yeah, I asked how parenthood affected the dynamics of your relationship with your husband.
Right. And it's something we're still growing through, and I wouldn't say trying to perfect, but it's something we're working through together to make more intentional time for just us, right? Obviously us having kids, that was a decision that we both decided to make. And we knew that the responsibilities would change, just the day-to-day would change, right, for us. So we went from being able to have constant date nights or to do certain things to like it being more limited, which we were definitely fine with doing because we have children, that's something, we always said we wanted from the beginning. But just being able to try to find that balance is needed because we need intentional time to be able to have like conversations to catch up with each other because now it's like, we both go to the office, we come home, it's eat dinner and it's bed. So it's like a repeated cycle. We get the kids dressed, get Junior to school, and mommy stays home, right now until she starts daycare. So just being able to find time for us has been pretty rough. Thankfully my sister, my brother-in-law, and even my mom and aunts, when they're here helping us, they offer like, y'all go and have a date night, have time for yourself, and to me it kind of, I wouldn't say I have guilt, but I would say it is a little bit of mom guilt, right? Because I'm just like, y'all always help us out, I don't want to like add on to the time. But, they don't look at it like that. They look at it as if, y'all need to pour into your marriage as well because that's very much needed, because you don't want to lose sight of why you're with your person, and you
because
want that
one
foundation.
Day, the kids will hopefully become self-sufficient and grow up and have their own lives and be living their own lives, that you hope to still be a part of. But, your focus wouldn't be on your kids
and you don't want to feel like y'all are strangers living in the house, you know what I mean? That would be kind of the worst thing, right?
Yeah.
So I would say we're doing better with trying to find that time, you know, and not necessarily, oh, babe, let's go run errands together. No, it's not just that, like, just going to be able to sit down at a restaurant or to have a drink. And we know the kids are fine because they would be here with their TT buddy or our nephew, right? So, you know, to not have that worry about, oh, having to get a babysitter, you know, it's a blessing because we know some family dynamics have to do that just to make time for themselves. So for us not to have to do that and to, you know, it's just us trying to make that intentional time. So it has gotten better. Like we're both on board with making sure our foundation of our marriage remains strong. Like we make sure we have those conversations about our financial goals, you know, decreasing expenses, our future plans, you know, at least financially for the kids, because we do want to make sure we leave them with like no debt. We don't want them to have to take care of expenses that they should not be responsible for when they become adults. You know what I mean? So we want them to be fully independent, fully functional, and for us to be able to leave them something that we can say we're proud of, and they can say that they're proud that my parents did this for me.
Right. I love that. Because you don't want them to be like spoiled
Right.
brats, but you want them to be taken care of and know that, you know, your parents worked hard for this to provide this for you. You don't owe them for it, but just know that it takes hard work and preparation and planning and intentionality and all of that, all of those things, you know. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
You want them to be well-rounded, well-grounded individuals. So
For sure.
yeah. Okay. So with all that you've mentioned, how have you been finding it to like, are you able to find time to carve out for yourself? I have on this Los Cabos shirt, so we know you found some time to do a little
I know.
something.
I finally found some time, right? I would say the last 2 times that I found, like the major times, was me going back to my alma mater's homecoming. What was that? A couple years ago. And so y'all, I was able to reminisce, like I was able to like kind of relive my college days, even just for a couple days, briefly, right? But just to be able to know the kids are fine, I can let go, I can have fun, I can go to the block party, like go to the tailgate, go to the game, and you know, do a couple strolls with my line sisters, you know, just to have time to say, you know, this is for me. I needed, you know, a mental break, you know, a physical break, and just being able to focus on doing something that I wanted to do, which, you know, as parents, we do put ourselves on the back burner, as we should, you know, most of the time, but it is very important that we do carve out time for ourselves. And I know as a mom, I used to say, oh, I'm going to go run errands by myself, get my little Starbucks. That's time, right? You know, that's time without the kids or whatever. But no, that's not really intentional time for myself. So I have started doing more so of like spa things, like getting massages, getting facials, getting my nails done, you know, and just having that time to focus on, you know, it gives me time to think, oh, you know, what are some things that I want to accomplish? You know, what are some things I want to do, you know, for the kids? But it gives me that time away to actually think and, like, I would say properly plan it. So yeah, going to homecoming definitely was a time away from myself. I had a great time with my sisters. It was awesome. And then the second, most recent was back in May. I went to Los Cabos, Mexico with my friend Lizzie for her birthday. So it was beautiful. I was able to take a lot of pictures. The room was beautiful. The view, the food was amazing. The drinks, but we're not going to go there. My sister knows how I feel. But, you know, it was a great time for her because she's a mom as well. So for us to be able to sleep like full nights of sleep, y'all. Like we were gone for like what, 4 days? 4 days, 3 nights or something like that. So we were gone for a while. We were like able to turn off alarms. Like we wouldn't have to worry about waking up, going to work. The kids aren't crying, screaming, mama, mama, mama. Like we were able to just chill, relax, get up when we wanted to. We didn't schedule like any excursions or anything because we wanted to say, oh, when we got there, if we were in the mood for it, we would do it, you know? Like, we didn't want to be on a schedule at all. So that was just a major woo-saw. So I totally enjoyed that trip. I want to incorporate more of that for myself. Like, definitely, like, we're already planning, my husband and I, you know, planning family trips with the kids, but just being able to go, and I told my sister as well, I want us to go on a sister trip because I can't remember the last time we went on something for fun for ourselves, you know what I mean, together. And I also, you know, not only is it important to constantly build on, you know, your relationship, your marriage, and make sure, you know, you're the parent that you need to be, but also with your siblings, right? We have had our ups and downs, and we're still growing through those, you know, those painful things. So just to make sure we're nourishing not only ourselves, but our relationship as sisters. So we're definitely, I think the last one thing we did go like impromptu drinks. So that was very impromptu for both of us, and we had a great time.
Kidnapped.
Yeah, I pretty much had to kidnap her. Like, it started out with us going to the hair supply store.
Yes.
And we were like, okay, it's Friday. Like, you know.
We
like, you know, Glorilla song, like TGIF, like we needed a turn up, y'all, and it was the perfect thing. Like, I was like, yeah, I know the right place. I think I
turned up enough for everybody at your daughter's birthday celebration.
Oh, we definitely need to talk about that on another episode.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know, but I wish I would have recorded it, y'all.
I wish somebody would have to, because Ryan called me. What did he call me? The Reposado Monster. What did you call me?
Look at his
Reposado.
Demon.
Reposado Demon is what he called me. And I said, oh my gosh, why are you calling me that?
Yes.
What happened? And he just refuses to tell me what happened.
Y'all,
You had a good time.
I mixed up a good mix. I don't even remember what I put in that mixed drink, but everybody was drinking it for Kayla's birthday party. Y'all, we were all lit. We were all lit. Yes. Throwing it back. Yeah. So, like,
blacked out. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she was. And I was like, girl, I wish I could get that feeling sometimes, but I don't, y'all. It'd be taking forever for me to get to that point. But no, but like having those kind of like building those memories with my sister, I cherish so much. And I just want us to like incorporate more sister time and like being able to get away and just make time for ourselves, you know, to have the hard conversations with, like, just like you need to do in your own like relationship with your partners. It's
what hard conversations we need to have right now?
I mean, I don't know. Something may come up.
About you not paying for my BBL?
Oh, yeah, that's probably one of them. Yeah. Because I need to pay for mine first. But, yeah, so, like, you know, seriously, y'all. So, but, yeah.
I love that. Okay, and then do you have any moments where you're like, oh, I feel successful as a parent? Like, this is why it's worth it. This is why I do what I do.
I would say yes. I would say just being able to, you know, come in from work and, you know, to walk in the room and Kayla sees me and she's almost jumping out of her skin from excitement, right? Just because you can tell when children are loved. You know what I mean? They will show it. You know, they're not cowering, they're not crying or trying to get away from you as the individual, right? So to see her, you know, excitement and to know that she knows I'm her mom, she knows I love her and I would do anything for her, that makes me so happy and emotional. And also, like, with Junior being in daycare, just hearing from his teachers how well he's doing, how respectful he is, how social he is with his friends and his classmates, that makes me feel like, oh, my husband and I are doing really well and we're trying our best, you know, to show up and be present and to make sure we're being the example that he needs to see. So that makes me feel really, really good. And that makes me feel like, okay, yeah, we are doing something right, you know.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for parents, other working parents?
like I said earlier, like it's day by day. You know what I mean? Don't expect the same days back to back, right? It's gonna be you're gonna have some really really good and seemingly easy days, and you're gonna have some really really hard days, right? Because as parents, you have to juggle a lot, especially when you are a working parent, right? You have to go, and sometimes your work environment isn't ideal, and so you can't bring those those feelings and those emotions home, because guess what? Your children, that has nothing to do with them. You need to be able to make sure you separate professionally from personally. Just the same in reverse, you can't take what's going, your frustrations from home to work. So just trying to make sure, and also don't overstress yourself. Don't put yourself down. Just look at yourself as, daily you're getting up, you're doing the best that you can. You're showing up for your children, right? Being the present parent they need, the loving parent, the listening ear, taking action when you need to, and listening to your actively listening, not passively listening, actively listening to your children when they come to you. For example, Junior is only 4, right? But he's very smart. He's very vocal, and I want him to remain that way. Whenever he comes to me and talk to me about stuff, yeah, like 90% of it is like off the wall gibberish or whatever, like, but that other 10%, I'm making sure like I'm actively listening. I'm asking him follow-up questions, like, to ensure that he is fine, no one is like messing with him, or he's not messing with someone else, just to make sure, we have that open communication from parent to children, right? And that's very, very important. And so as a working parent, just do your best. Like, all you can do is wake up and do your best, because, when you decide to have children, you sacrifice a lot, you go through a lot, but you have to remember the beauty in it, even when it's beastie at moments, you know what I mean? So just give yourself grace, because you're pouring so much of yourself out, for work, for your family, for home, but also give yourself grace to know that you deserve pouring into as well. So just make sure you're getting that in return is important.
I love that. And I had mentioned before too on a previous episode about how we know for sure that we only have this one life, and I wish more parents would realize that and use that to treat their children better, to build on those relationships with their kids, in the hopes that their nourishing relationship that the child will want to continue fostering, when they become adults. Because a lot of people, we hear all the time about, oh, well, I provide for you, so
they think that's it. That's it. All, right.
Right. You owe me respect and all of that, but they're being super disrespectful to the kids and all of that, and not acknowledging their humanity and their autonomy and all of the things. So, I just think it's really important that, it's acknowledged, it's fostered, healthy relationships are fostered, yes, and that respect is a two-way street, and all of that, all of the things. So
yeah, and I always say, and me and my husband talk about, like, you want to be the example that you would, what you want your children to follow, right? So you can't be, flying off the wall or have outrageous reactions to things and not expect your children to do the same, right? So we have to be very mindful in how we react, to certain things. Yeah, our children may come to us, they may anger us, but guess what? They're children, they're learning, they're growing, right? Their mental capacity is growing. We can't expect a grown-up personality and mental capacity from a child. Something like, that is ridiculous, right? Something would be very wrong. So let your child be a child, learn with them, grow with them. If you don't understand something they're saying, or, just try to be, show patience, and I feel like a lot of parents lack that. They may let other things or external, internal things that they're going through reflect or shed onto their relationship with their children. You can't do that. You know what I mean? Just, it's a continuous job, like, because, you're nourishing your children, but at the same time, we go through a lot ourselves as parents. And so you have to make sure you're getting the support that you need as well,
Yeah.
so you can be able to show up fully for your children.
Yeah.
You know, you want to nurture, you want to make sure you have that bond with your child that, you know, even when they grow up, if they decide to say, mom or dad, you know, I need my space, or I feel like you could have done this better, being open to hearing that feedback and not being pushful and saying, well, you know, you had the
I didn't
best
mean
life,
to.
you know,
You know,
you
that
should
wasn't
be
my
grateful.
intention.
Those
Yeah.
kind of remarks, yeah, it's not going to do any good. You know
But
what
pushing
I
them
mean?
further away.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the worst thing you could do, you know.
You know, we have to sit with it and say, oh my gosh, like
Reflect.
internally,
Yeah.
and say, oh my gosh, I didn't know I had that impact. That wasn't my intention at all.
Right.
But, you know, you have to be mindful about how you respond, because, you know, it depends. Like, if you're very defensive,
Yeah.
you know, that child is going to go further away from you.
Yeah.
But if you say, let me know how I can repair this,
Yeah.
you know, how we can repair and build
How
a
did I
healthy
make you
relationship.
feel right? Yes,
Yes.
yes. And how can we, you know, how can I, you know, improve or make things, you know, better to make sure we're you know, we're building on the relationship that
And if
I
it
would
happens
like for us.
again, you know,
Yeah.
just call me out on it, and, you know, just, you know, we'll build and learn and grow. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's like you said, it's a continuous process.
Being able to communicate, yeah, and not feeling restricted, and
Yes.
that's another thing. Yep, that's probably a whole nother episode.
Because
Feeling restricted as a
That's
child.
what I said, that, you know, hopefully, you know, you're someone that your child will want to have a relationship with when they no longer need you.
Right.
I think that's really important, because, you know, a lot of people do lean on to they need me, so, you know, they love me,
Take advantage,
and, you know, I can treat them any kind of way, you know,
Right.
whatever. So, type of stuff. So, you know, just being someone that your child will want to associate with, when they are an individual, when they no longer need you, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. Let's see. And like we said there's no guarantee you can do everything right, you know, by the proverbial book. And that child may still say, it was nice to know you.
Right.
Catch you on the other side, you know. So that's just like a risk you take whenever you have relationships with people.
Yeah.
So, you know,
People in
sometimes you
general,
have to, what's the word? You have to not compartmentalize, but you have to acknowledge or realize that, you know, these are relationships with people. It's somebody who shares your genetics, but they still are a
Their own
person, you know,
yeah.
and that's the risk you take, because you're like, oh, you may wake up one day and that person is like, I don't want anything to do with you.
Right.
And baby, you got to go to therapy
Yeah.
and deal with it and learn how to cope and live your life, because, you know, it's going to go on,
Right.
you know. So, yeah, we talked about that too. So, let me see. And, yeah, so we said do right by kids because they don't ask to be here. Respect them. You know, we all were kids. We know how it felt to not be heard, to not be acknowledged, to just be dismissed, and disrespected, and, you know, just not taken seriously. So,
Right.
you know, I think it's important to make sure that, like I said, respect is a two-way street. Even if someone is younger than you, that doesn't mean they're worthy of less respect. Like, that doesn't
Exactly.
make you
Yeah.
automatically owe respect. So, I think respect is earned, not given. So respect me, I respect you. I don't care what the age difference is. You know, a lot of people in our community are like, well, the elders. And I'm like, a lot of the elders are very disrespectful.
Have very sick and bad behavior and personality.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
you can't expect me to respect the
you
person
already know
like
how I
that.
feel
Yeah.
about that. So,
Right.
I don't care how old you are. But yes, let's see. Oh yeah, we said about being safe places, because, you know, we do what we have to do for our professional work to pay the bills. You know, we show up how we're supposed to show up, you know, within the confines that are established. But after that, we want to be free to be ourselves, to be
Right.
open, fully ourselves. And we said that children should be given that same grace, that same opportunity. Because, you know, when they have school or extracurriculars and all of that, you know, they have to do certain things to stay on teams, to get good grades, to be referred to, you know, for certificates, for awards, and all of those things. You know, outside of that, not saying that you're going to be a shitty person, but just like kind of like take a breath, like relax. Like, you don't have to put on for me. Like, you could just be yourself with me. However you are, you know, LGBTQIA plus, you know, whatever is going on, like, I accept you. This is a safe place. I will protect you. Like, you know, all of the things, you know. So just, we said it was important to be that peace for, you know, younger people.
Yeah, because the world is already hard enough, as we know, and we've learned over the years in becoming adults, right, from children to adults. You know, we went through bullying as children, you know, so it's something, you know, we know that's still pretty prevalent in causing children and even some adults to you know, in their own lives, and it's very devastating to know. But as we've all been taught, words hurt. Being mindful of what you say and how you say things to people matters. You know what I mean? So, just like you said, being that safe space, because we know what children and people are going through out in the world. We don't want to make it worse here at home. When they come home, they shouldn't be cringing or worried or fearful that, you know, things are gonna be worse, or I'm not gonna have the support or the love or the attention that I need. No, it should not be like that. You know what I mean? So, being that safe space, that reprieve, that you know, that comfort that your child or your children need, you know, it goes a long way.
And knowing when they need outside resources.
Yes.
That's not, you know,
it's not shameful.
Being messy. It's not, you know, telling their business, but you get them the appropriate help that they need. And, you know, a lot of times in our communities, we try to keep shit hush-hush, keep things within the family.
Brush it under the rug.
Under the rug. And that ends up causing more harm. And doing more harm than good. So, you know, there are resources out there. You know, sometimes in rural communities, it's a little bit harder to get access to them, but they're there. And if you know someone who is connected, who can get you to their, like, you know, you don't have to tell them everything. Just say, hey, I need help. I know someone who needs help. Yeah, get these kids the help they need. So that they know, you know, trouble doesn't last always. You know, I'm not religious, but, you know, I do believe that, you know, nothing lasts forever. So just logically, trouble won't last forever. You know, things can change. So just keeping that hope alive, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said, it's really crazy to think about our existence, just existing because we're on a rock flying through space. Like, it literally doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You know, so let's make sense of the things we can and do good, be good to people. Just, you don't have to harm anybody. You don't have to perpetuate harm. You can do different, be different, and choose love and light and happiness and all the good things, and all of that, because, again, we're hurling through space on a rock and we're like dust in the grand scheme of the universe. So you know, it doesn't make sense, you know. So don't be out here being bad and evil. Don't do that.
Exactly. Do something better with your time.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Can we talk about how Kayla is starting to walk?
Oh
y'all.
my gosh.
That's
who I keep looking over at. I keep looking over at her because she is killing it.
Yes, she is 14 months old and she's just now getting the hang of walking. And it's just beautiful. It's beautiful to see. You know what I mean? So, and I already know we're going to be in big trouble because she's going to be everywhere here in the house. So, but it's amazing to see her gain her confidence, right? We're walking.
She's building
and her own little independence, you know, so we love it. So those kind of things we love to see as parents, right?
Like she's trying to run. I'm like, girl, take your time and let's check off the box step one first.
And those kind of moments you just want to capture and to
Yes.
just keep forever, you
Yes.
know, in your memory. So, you know, it's beautiful to see.
I was trying to interview the guest co-host. Let me see.
Oh.
Do you have anything you would like to say to the people? Do you have anything you would like to say to the people? Okay, I take that as a no. We've heard you this whole episode, so you don't have anything to say? Do you have anything to say to the people?
Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama. You were talking the whole time.
The
Now she
whole
wants to be
time.
quiet. Hi.
Hey.
Say baby. 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 Yes, y'all.
Oh, I love her so much.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's pretty much it that we wanted to cover. Let me see. Yeah, so just coming up, we have Tougaloo's Alumni Week. We're gonna be there that weekend, and I'm taking my cousin to Tougaloo's Preview Day, and we're gonna be at the picnic and do all of that weekend, and whatever the hell else pops up. I'm planning to have a real good time, okay? Because it's been forever since I've
she
stepped
needs
foot
a
on
good
that
time.
campus.
Right.
And then the next week we have the Hot Tamale Festival and the family weekend in Greenville. So should be a really good time. I hope everyone is safe in their travels and all of that, but should be really, really turned 2 weekends in a row. So yes, I'm really interested to see how that plays out. I'm really excited to see some people that I've missed over the few years, and yeah. So if you made it this far, I really appreciate you checking back in with Over It All with DW and RJ. And hopefully you tune in to our next episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Bye.